Good evening, everybody. It's evening when I'm recording this. That's what I'm going off of. This is your host, Sloppy of the Weeaboo Corner. And right now, I'm here to give you all my ramblings and thoughts, like legit, just my pure thoughts, less of a review, more of a talking piece on the anime from 2017 to 2018, Girls Last Tour. If you have any thoughts of your own on the series, I hope you all leave in the comments below. Of course, I will respond to all of them and I will read all of them, of course. But without a further ado, please enjoy. This is entirely unscripted, just as they should be. I have my few talking points mentioned out, and without further ado, let's get into it. I hope you all enjoy. Girls' Last Tour is about two girls, Yuri and Chito, as they explore a desolate city ravaged by a war that they had participated in, though they were given a motorbike to escape from as their current base was being bombed. What we see is the adventures of these two young girls as they attempt to reach the highest level of this city broken down by war. Along the way, they meet two people. First, being a man just trying to map out the entire city, in which they get to a higher level with him, but in turn losing his map along the way. He dives down to go remake it or to fetch the broken pieces. Second, being a woman just trying to build an airplane based off of blueprints she finds within where she's held up at. It doesn't go well. It feels like the emphasis of Girls' Last Tour, the thesis being that you need purpose to continue to live fulfillingly. There comes a point in the series where these two girls end up fighting over a calorie mate. While this is at the beginning of the series in the anime, the first episode, fighting over a small scrap of food becoming their reason to live, that's seriously thought provoking, at least to me. At one point, they end up coming across a factory in which that's only run by two other robots. One that's only programming is to tear down what is useless and to fix and build up what could be useful, in which case that's all he can follow. Second, being a caretaker for the small marine life that's left. One single fish in this entire aquarium. While protecting that single fish does become this caretaker robot's entire goal in life, it gives it purpose, drive to continue moving. Aside from the fact that, well, he's been programmed to do this, it seems like there's a inkling of some form of artificial intelligence, if you will, though I do doubt it. At the time, seemed probable, but looking back, not likely. But that's the entire thesis of the story. For the man that they find that makes a map, once he loses it, he just goes off and we never see him again. We can easily presume he's dead from lack of food or by getting into some sort of accident. He's lost his purpose, the map that he was making of the city. Later, they meet a female who's using blueprints in this area she found to make an airplane. The airplane crashes. The airplane crashes. But prior to, our two girls, Chito asks, "What is your plan if it fails?" She never says that she'll try again. She would have lost her purpose in this case. After her plane essentially breaks down, while we do see her fall to the ground in a parachute, so she does survive the impact at least. Again, we never see her. That's the last time we see her. The entire idea of Girls Last Tour is once you have purpose, you will always be able to keep moving. Once you find your drive, you will never stop. As long as you can find a reason, no matter how small it is, you can survive. That's what I feel the idea of Girls Last Tour is. Now, personally, I haven't read the manga, but from the few screenshots that I have, it seems to be a similar idea. The ending of the manga is very bleak, and I've heard complaints about the ending of the manga and the ending of the anime being that, well, The entire show is so bleak. Nothing's going on. Nothing happens. It's very boring. Why should I have wasted my time watching this? That's the idea. That's life. I get if you watch anime to escape, like I at least used to once do, even times still do now. But when you have one series that goes out of its way to have no excess of dramatic moments, there's only one or two serious drama instances within Girls Last Tour. One in the very beginning, and one in the middle with that woman in the airplane, because holy shit, she made an airplane in the middle of nowhere with shitty supplies. That's actually pretty fucking bitchin'. And it breaks down in mid flight. That's all we get from it, though. That, and when our two main girls fight over calorie mates. Food rations, essentially. It's just like a really dense cracker. You eat it, it gives you just enough calories to keep going. I think it's like a couple hundred, maybe. I'm going off of my head. Apologies. These two girls that are no older than like 10, maybe 12, are fighting over a small food ration, which shows the disparity of their situation. But these two girls have found their purpose and found their drive. Getting to the next refueling station and just keep moving forward. I feel like that is the genius of Girls Last Tour. Say you work 9 to 5 in an office. You wake up, get your snack, brekkie, you go to work, you come back, wake up, eat, work, eat, go back, wake up, work, eat, go back, wake up, eat, work, go back, eat. You get it? It's this anonymous and autonomous loop that you get stuck into where it feels like, shit, I've been a robot for the past week. I've just been waking up, been eating my food, I've gone to work, I've gone back, I've eaten dinner, and now I'm going to bed. It's the same cycle. And I feel like that's the genius of Girls Last Tour. Because once you get in that robot state, you lose a purpose aside from the fact, well, my body's been doing this, so my body's going to continue to repeat it. In Girls Last Tour, it feels like we're doing this for a reason. And even if we lose that reason, we'll find another. Which is why it's super interesting. The last few episodes introduce this cat like character. This cat, though, spoilers, is a mushroom fungus. Legit. It is a mushroom, and it communicates with all of these different statues that lie about the land. The one that makes that really iconic simplified face where the eyes are just looking to the words to right. Cheetah makes it several times during the show, and it's in the opening. This like weird statue thing that has its eyes towards the right. It's very, very like kind of iconic, especially back in 2017 to 2019 when eyes were on Girls Last Tour, which I feel they should still be because it's a very intriguing story once you put aside the fact that, oh, it's boring because nothing happens, in quotes. Nothing happens in Girls Last Tour because nothing needs to happen again. But this giant statue that you see everywhere, the eyes pointed towards the right, it's like this coding for these mushroom alien beings that communicate with Cheeto by just swallowing Yuri at one point. Yuri, the blonde one, and just communicating with Cheeto through, well, in the sub it's Japanese, and in the dub it's English, if you will. Anyways, our two girls learn that they are likely the last two humans left alive on Earth because these mushroom like creatures, that's what I'm equating them to, they don't communicate purely as a hive mind. What I mean by that is, say one gets punched on the other side of the world, it's going to take a minute for that one to relay to everybody else, hey, I just got punched. Not all of them are going to feel that punch per se. But they pass to our main girls that it's likely they are the last two left on Earth. But they accept that fact. and they just hop back on their car without any more goal and just keep moving forward, which is the direct antithesis of what I personally believe is, like, say, the synopsis or the thesis, excuse me, the thesis of Girls Last Tour. You should have your goal and a purpose to move forward. The reason why I believe that they continue moving forward is for Chito to want to learn more about the past and understand the world that once was. Because at this point in the anime, she views a tape that gives like the most like complete like synopsis of the, or at least for us, the quote unquote modern day world of 2017. Like regular schooling, high school, middle school, families, sports games, elections, politics, events like that, legal events. But she wants to explore the nitty gritty of the situation. She picks up books along the way and textbooks, and she learns all about it. At one point, Yuri and Cheeto stumble into what looks like an apartment complex, and they imagine what it would be like to live there with the appliances and such. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like her purpose is. That's why she keeps moving and immediately is like, well, Yuri asks, well, what do we do? Cheetah's like, we keep going to the top, in a sense of the word. And it's, I'm paraphrasing, of course. They hop in the car and they keep moving. And the series ends like that, or at least in the anime. Now, when we talk about the manga ending, that's when we have a different perspective. At least me personally, I don't know the full context. All I know is that they get to the top, and that's all I'll speak on it because I don't have the full context and I don't want it right now because I want to talk purely on the anime side. I'll restate my thesis again, or at least what I think is the thesis for Girls Last Tour, the anime. You need purpose as your main motivation to keep moving forward. Tito, the black haired one, wants to learn about the past and the history of the human race up until their point. Yuri, the blonde one, wants to eat food. The man that they meet along the way around episode 4 to 6 ish time frame wise, he wants to make a map of the entire city and has it from like all the levels up until where they find him. The woman that they meet about episode 7 or 8, maybe, she wants to build this airplane to fly to the next level and fly upwards to a completely different part of the city that might have more people. But once those two have their motivation taken away again, we never see them again for the rest of the story. They're just gone. Again, at least for the anime. We never see them again, and we likely never will. The idea of the last episode is is kind of like a review of everyone we've come across. Because this like cat creature can connect electromagnetic senses and broadcast them to each other, much like we have now with like, hey, Siri, cast my phone to the TV. Boom, and whatever I have up on my phone is up on the TV. It's the same way with this cat creature acting like the bridge to and from. It thinks with its mind and broadcasts the contents of of basically a camera onto the monitor within this submarine, and it shows like this chunk of history that basically condenses the entire history, like the important bits. Like, here's a schoolgirl's like science project and how they're making it and all the different trials that they have. But here's a political agenda in saying that America wants to take over the world and Japan is combating them. And now here are giant Ava-like robots that are in the midst of the battlefield. And here's the world destroyed. You know what I mean? Different clips, like newsreel clip bits. It's like a compilation type video. It's like, here's what happened from event to event to event to event to event to event to event. But in between all the major events are a bunch of different small things. Like, here's some families at a picnic. Here's a bit of a theme park. Here's girls in their science project. Again, trial 133. So, Girls Last Tour as an anime is very, very interesting. I watched it in the middle of a field op, And I find that it's really good and like well written and well paced because it's so slow. It's so monotonous. But it's not a bad thing that it's monotonous too. But I don't think many people will understand everything until they experience that monotony of we have our one goal and it's X. Like for us, our one goal was getting networks up. And by the time we got it, we felt so elated, but everything else was so slow. Like the first like week or few weeks went by like that, baby. We was running through him. By the time we knew we were 3 weeks in, but once we got the network up, oh my goodness, it was going so slow. So I feel like that's a good enough parallel, at least for me to understand it, and I hopefully it is for you too, to understand why Girls Last Tour is not only very interesting, but also like very well and expertly written for the anime side. Again, I'm not going to speak on the manga side because I haven't read it yet. I probably will at some point, and I'll put like a little addendum under this video. I might not make another one, but I'll put a little addendum. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed basically my thoughts. This isn't a full on review. This is just like my genuine thoughts and appreciation for Girls Last Tour. And I will see y'all, and I'll listen to y'all. Hope you'll listen to me and enjoy my thoughts on it. I'll try to enjoy yours if you give them to me in the next video. Have a good night, everybody.